How's it going, everybody? My name is Mechanic Dave, and I figured I'd be giving you a walk around of my 1979 Mercury Capri. Now, keep in mind that the Mercury Capris and the Ford Mustangs are identical, except for one thing. This says Mercury. The others say Ford or have Mustang on them, or don't say anything at all. This is a factory 4-cylinder, but it's been swapped out with a 351 V8, which I can show you. The hood is also not attached to anything, so there it is. There's the, I think that's putting out about 200 horsepower with a Edelbrock 1406, Edelbrock Performer RPM intake. What else I can tell you about this motor? So the previous guys who owned this motor, when they installed it, I was gonna make this drop. When they installed the motor and they installed the tranny, they used washers because the bolts were too long, so they spaced out the bolts with washers to hook up the transmission to the motor. What else? Oh, it's got Shelby Cobra rims, which you can see right there. Factory front discs and rear drums. I think the front discs they look like a 9-inch. It's got street tires on it currently, but they're kind of dry rotted, but they're good. This car is made in 1979, so it doesn't need catalytic converters. Instead, all I need are mufflers, and I have my exhaust pipes coming out right there. Just lay down on the ground. You can see pipe right up to the header, no muffler. These are brake and fuel lines, need some work. The transmission in this is a C4 3-speed automatic, and it makes about a lot of torque. I don't know the exact numbers exactly, but 3-speed automatic, so it's a floor shifter, not as opposed to the column, which was a factory option. Opening the door, which is actually kind of heavy. You have the original seat, which is not bolted down at all. Get in here. Door is kind of heavy. It's got that nice slam to it. This is all factory, this trim right here. The locks on this don't work. This is a T-top car, which is unusual because in 1979 they only made a couple thousand T-top versions of the Capri that were actually a V6, so this might have been a V6 or a 4-cylinder, I'm not sure, but most of the Capris at the time came out with a 4-cylinder. There were the very special editions that came out in 84, 83, which had the Mustang 5.0. Those had a 5-speed manual, so it was a 5.0 5-speed. I don't think they had T-tops, though, but they did have a convertible model. But I like my T-tops. They're nice and solid. They leak. Any T-top does. So the dash in this is all original, all from the 70s. We have battery voltage, engine temperature, RPMs. You can see how many miles are on it, which not terrible. Oil pressure, fuel tank's currently out, and you can see the patch holes that are being worked on. It's been sitting a while because it's been winter, so it's been sitting for a while and accumulating rust. You can see a hole up there, a hole right there. On most cars, the brake pedal is wide enough that you can use both feet, and I guess you can, but normally it's wider, but this is really meant for just one. The brakes are actually kind of acceptable, not entirely. This has cruise control, which doesn't work. The horn, which does work, doesn't have a battery in it currently, does pop out of its housing, so you can work on it very easily, but it works. And the trim is also broken right there, so I try and try and not mess with it too much. Get that back in there. The shifter is a Hurst, or no, it is a B&M shifter. This is a B&M T shifter, which the T means you pull that up to select your gears. And you can see that's exceptionally not good. Had wires coming from here all the way up to here, which you would connect, and it would turn on the washers. I tore out the speakers because rabbits have chewed those wires out. I need to rewire the heater core. I have no radio, but my Bose Bluetooth speaker fits perfectly into here, so I can just connect that to my phone. E-brake. It works. I think. Probably not. Normally the center console will be right here. I have no mirror, and that is because the mount rotted off. Or, no, I'm just missing the screws. It didn't rot off. Sorry. But I'm missing the screws for that. But I have the mirror, and back here I have the factory sun visors. Yeah, look at that. Hi, me. I own a car. But those are old, so those are going to get replaced. Factory rear seats, which actually come down, which is kind of nice. They are lap belts in the back, but full belt in the front. Well, I'm going to get a roll cage that is going to be fit from here all the way over there, center bar, or the main hoop. Power windows, power locks. It does have power steering. All my lights work, well, the necessary lights, but on this one, I don't have the key in here. You can obviously see that, but I can still crank the ignition. So this car is very high for theft, but I don't think anyone will want to steal it because it looks so rough. I have vacuum pressure or boost. Even though this is naturally aspirated, I have vacuum pressure, so that's good to know, because if it leans out too much, then the engine's toast. It did have an option in, I believe, 84, 83, when they had the convertibles. And you can see I cut the wires right there for electric heated seats. That's right. But these are manual seats. You move them, but this is just sitting in here so I can just sit. Biggest thing I don't really like about the inside of the car is is how that opens up. You can see there's my shifter knob, my B&M shifter knob. The lug nuts on these are special, so you need the special tool to get into there. But I don't like it because it sometimes falls off. What else can I tell you? Oh, the hatch. Just move around it. I need some oh shit handles is what I need. So behind here, there is a lever which you pull up, and you can bring the seat all the way down. You can see the hole right there. That needs to be patched up. This is all original carpeting too. That's gonna get going. This is a nice part of the car. It's broken on one side though, so it's meh. That's ripped there, but they still serve their function. Sometimes you gotta give it a little encouragement when putting the seat back up. Nope. There we go. But factory seat belts, when I get the roll cage loop in here, I'm going to put a crossbar in there and have racing harnesses, a 4-point harness, just for safety. Roll cage from right here to here, strengthen all that up because this car is very delicate. You can see that is locked. Opening the door. Yeah, the locks on this are pretty bad. But overall, it's a very nice car. It's actually pretty clean, mattering how rough it looks. It's been sitting across the road for 9 years, and the biggest ugly part is probably the front bumper, which really needs a repainting. Oh, the hood vents. Those were fake, and it was just sheet metal underneath it. So what I did was I cut holes in it, so now they're actual functioning. So then my air cleaner will get there. It's been sitting for a while because waiting on transmissions. But it needs some Bondo work, and this was actually not a factory option, the cowl. The Capris did have a cowl, but they were very different. This, I believe, came off of I think it came off of either a Torino or another Fox body Mustang. But anyways, you can see they cut a hole because then the air cleaner would stick out through the hood and it would just be really ugly. So, but it's bondoed on there pretty bad. I strengthened it up with some JB Weld, but get some fiberglass resin, do the whole hood, sand it down. My plan is to get that painted black and have the car white. I do have a ducktail spoiler for it. Some cars didn't have the option for a spoiler, but this one did. So some cars just had the flat back like that, and others had the little ducktail that would come up about maybe that high.